just the Final Four in general. I mean, we will have a live show on Sunday, so if we do make the championship, we will break down whoever we are playing the championship. But I guess we'll just break down the Final Four a little bit. I want to leave this off. Huge shout out to KenPom. The top 10 KenPom teams of all time. Number 2, 2024-2025 Duke. Number 6, 2024-2025 Houston. Number 8, 2024-2025 Florida. Number 10, 2024-2025 Auburn. I mean, the entire top Final Four is the top 10 KenPom teams of all time. I mean, it's just ridiculous how good these teams are this year. Now you see a bit splurge in the past couple of years of teams in it. You have last year's UConn. You have 2021 Gonzaga. Actually, outside of that, it's not really no one else in the recent years. I mean, 2015, or was it 2014, 2015 Kentucky. So it's not too crazy. But, of course, the Gators would be the best team nearly 9 out of 10 years. And we get stuck in the year where 4 of the top 10 teams of all time are in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, man. But
yeah, why couldn't this have been the year where San Diego State and FAU make the Final Four, man? It's not fair.
I mean that UConn team that won it was also on a tear then.
Yeah.
Is that UConn team on here? No, the UConn.
No, that was UConn. The UConn won both. That was UConn's first.
Yeah, UConn won back to back. Oh no, I was talking on this top 10 list.
Oh, sorry.
So actually, wait, if I'm not reading, oh wait, no, okay, it was last year UConn, and then the other UConn team. Okay, the other UConn team is not on this list. They were only a 4 seed. But I remember everyone was talking about them as a 4 seed as a national title contender. So that was an interesting year. Yeah, Rob, we can just end the show here. Final Four breakdown. If UF is making shots, we win easy, and Duke will beat Houston. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up now. No. Well, if we're getting serious here, the Lions have came out for this game. Florida is the favorite, 2.5 points. Don't think many people would have expected that just 2 months ago, early February, late January, that Auburn was the underdog and Florida was the favorite in a Final Four matchup. I think it shows how much this team has developed over time.
Yeah.
How much better they have gotten and how much. It's hard to say they've gotten worse. Auburn has because like the losses are to good teams, but the on-court play, it does look like it's been worse. But I mean, shout out to this team for really rising the ranks this quickly.
Yeah. I will say Auburn, because I didn't really expect Auburn to go super far in the tournament. I had them, I think in my bracket, I had them going out in the Sweet 16 because they ended the year not playing very good basketball in the regular season and their tournament exit. I think they've looked pretty good in the NCAA tournament so far. I think they look more like the team that we've seen for most of the year. I'm a little surprised to see Florida favored there, but I'm not surprised in the sense that, Florida's a team everyone's been on, and they've overcome 2 sort of, varying degrees of improbable comebacks. So, I'm not really surprised that people think Florida's just the hot team right now and are picking them, but I'm surprised just because I think Auburn has looked like they're getting back closer to form.
I disagree. So,
you think they look more you don't think they look a lot better than they did the last week of the regular season?
No, so look at the last week of the regular season on. Lost to Texas A&M. They lost in the second round, but Texas A&M was a 4 seed, a top 20 team in the country. So it's they lost to that team. That was clear they weren't really trying in that game. Down the next game, they lost to Alabama where they were trying. They lost to a top 10 team, a top 8 team in the country. In overtime. That's not looking bad. And then they play a close game against Ole Miss, an Ole Miss team that made the Sweet 16, the top 16 team in the country, where they still won. And they lost to Tennessee, another top 8 team in the country in a close game, where I know the refs were very interesting in that Tennessee-Auburn game. Now, they lost it, and it's they weren't looking as good as they were earlier in the season.
Yeah.
I just think, law of averages came out, and is Auburn the dominant team that's winning every single big game they played for the first half of the season going into February? No. But are they still a top 5, top 4 team in the country that could win these big games? I also don't think the path they've taken or had is that impressive. they had it was a close game in the second half against Alabama State. Now, they won it by double digits. It wasn't close in the end, but it was a closer game at points. Like, I don't think they looked better than they did against Tennessee in that game when they lost to Tennessee. And then they played Creighton in the second round. Creighton's up at halftime, and then Bama takes over. I mean, sorry, not Bama. Auburn takes over. They win it. Sorry. But, Creighton 8 seed, how good is Creighton? Is Creighton better than Alabama? No. Is Creighton better than Tennessee? No. Is Creighton better than Ole Miss? I would say no. Is Creighton better than A&M? I would say no. So beating Creighton, not close game, however you want to put it, a game they pulled away at the end to win. Then they lose they beat Michigan. They had a really nice run. Now, the second half against Michigan, that's where I thought that you could say they looked like the Auburn team of earlier in the season, where they went down by like 9 points, and then I blink and they're up by 10 points. That game was so weird how it ended up doing that. But then this Michigan State game, they looked good in this Michigan State game.
They're pretty dominant in this Michigan State game, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, 6-point win. It wasn't that close. It was there by double digits the entire game, basically.
Yeah, that was kind of fake.
And you have Broom step out for a good half.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that long. I think it was like right part of it. What was that?
I'll just continue. Ooh, your cameras and microphone are going for monkey.
What? Looks fine. Is it?
Ooh. I think he's gone. All right. Now
am I?
Oh, there you are.
Am I? Nothing ever screwed up on my end, so I don't know what just happened there. Can you hear me?
Maybe that's just on my end. Yeah, I can hear you. Talk one more time.
I'm talking. Can you hear me still?
Your audio is like delayed.
That's so weird.
All right, say hi.
Hi.
Oh, now it's good. Now it's fixed.
Okay. I don't know.
There we go.
I'm not touching any settings at any point here, so I'm not sure why it keeps doing that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I mean, I wasn't that high. Sorry, I wasn't that high on Michigan State. I thought if we played Michigan State, I was hoping we played Michigan State because I think we would beat Michigan State more. I mean, I think we beat them by the same we did Maryland's. That's just, they're just not that talented. What Izzo did with this Michigan State team proves why he is one of the best coaches in college basketball. Mm-hmm. Like, he took a team that's probably like a 5 seed, a 6-5 seed, made him a 2 seed, took him to the Elite Eight, and played a 6-point game with Auburn that has maybe one of the best resumes of all time. But I think that is hats off to him. I don't think they were that talented. I think once they met up with the Florida, Auburn, Duke, Houston, it was the end for them. So I was hoping to play them, but like maybe Auburn is going to play like how they have earlier in the season against us. But I don't know if you can look at the tournament and say this is why, and you're 100% like confident that that was an actual example of what they were doing when they were beating Ohio State by 50 in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean that's definitely fair. I mean, looking at this game, my kind of thing here is like I think Florida has a really good shot to win this game. I think, like Rob has said in the comments,
absolutely.
Like if Florida can hit the shot, like if Florida can actually have a good shooting game, they have a pretty good chance to win here. I just the thing that makes me nervous about this matchup, and the reason I really didn't want to have to play Auburn again, is I think first of all, I really just feel like, and this isn't to take away from the way Florida played in that first game, but I do think Florida got like Auburn's worst game in that first game. Like Auburn looked really out of sorts at playing at home in that game. Like they did not look. I mean, Florida looked good, but they looked bad too. I think.
I think Florida's defense like got Auburn down. Like I don't know if it was Auburn looking bad or our defense looking really good.
I mean, they didn't look like they were willing to match the physicality, which is weird because that's been a thing they've usually been pretty good at doing this year.
And that's kind of what we saw at the end of the year where they struggled, where they weren't matching the physicality against A&M, Bama, Tennessee, us obviously. So maybe that is something they just now start doing, but they didn't do against us. But like I think you look at that first game where we played early on, Auburn went up 10. But they went up 10 hitting tough shots, and that's kind of how the rest of the game played out, where they kept having to take tough shots, and it was eventually not going to fall. And they were giving Florida a lot of open looks. Condon was phenomenal defensively and offensively. Walter Clayton had 19 points in like the first 25 minutes, and then he didn't need to score again. So, I mean, maybe it's just physicality. They couldn't match it, but now they can. I don't know. I mean, I like our chances, especially because there's just no way Broom's better than 80% going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's got a week to prepare. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not, I mean, if it's just an elbow bruise or whatever, like a, or something like along those lines, or something like no structural damage, we'll see. I mean, to me, I think we've said it, but I think this game boils down to Condon. I mean, I think it boils down to the guards hitting shots, but I think it also really boils down to Condon because, between Janai Broom and Dylan Cardwell, like these are big guys that can give you problems, and he needs to play better defensively than he has. He needs to play a lot better offensively than he has. But I think if he does, and Florida hits shots at a reasonable rate, I think they'll be pretty well positioned in this game. But those are two pretty critical things.
Yeah, I agree. We need to be able to hit our shots. Martin can't be going 0 of 4, and Richard can't be going 0 of 2. We need Richard to go like 3 of 6. And Martin also going like 3 of 6. Like, we need those guys to be good, be great defensively. Tahad Pettiford. If Tahad Pettiford was a starting guard, like the best player on Auburn, they might be talking about him like near that Walter Clayton level. Because in the minutes he's played coming off the bench, Tahad Pettiford has been amazing. He's hitting ridiculously hard shots, and he's been the driving force along with Broom in those games where they trailed to Creighton and when they trailed to Michigan. So we have to find a way to shut him down, because he's hitting tough shots. So it's hard to shut someone down when they're hitting shots where most people would be shut down off that defense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm sorry. Broom is a faker, and 70 points is not beating this team. I think Auburn scores more than 70.
Yeah. That's how much they scored today. That's what they scored today.
We play a much higher pace than Michigan State will.
Like, you're right. Auburn won't win on Saturday if they score 70 points, but I don't think it's a 1-to-1 style of play comparison there, but yeah. I don't know about Broom being a faker. I mean, just no comment on that one, but we'll see.
I'm surprised that his leg was fine. Do you see the way he landed? Like, I thought it was a leg injury at first.
I missed it when it happened live, so I kind of was just like gauging what people were saying after the fact. Then I saw the clip, but like, yeah, we'll see. He came back out and apparently did X-rays that were clean, so I don't know.
He was holding that arm.
He was hurting. He was hurting, no doubt. Yeah.
I swear this Auburn team has more injuries than they come back in the same game than any other team I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that's happened to us a decent amount of times this year too.
That's it. The same amount that's happened to Auburn, or like even close.
Yeah, no, I'm saying both teams happens to at a pretty high rate. Yeah.
I feel like with Auburn, you have like multiple, like it happens every single game with at least one player. Yeah. Like Chad Baker-Mazara in their first game against Alabama State, it happens. Was it Dylan Cardwell in like their second game against Creighton? He got injured, I think it was as well. So it's like it's happening every game where you have a player come off, go to the back, and then come back and play. And Broom hit a 3. It was a wide open 3, and he's not. I hope we don't give him many of those, but he was holding that arm.
Yeah,
I don't know. Walter Clayton's been on a mission here. He's trying to get that championship. He doesn't want to lose. The way we lost in last year's tournament probably still haunts him. Or, probably not with how relaxed and calm he is. But I don't know. I think the team's going to be able to beat Auburn.
Yeah, we're getting into score predictions here, or what do we want to do?
We've broken down this game once. What else can we say? Do you have anything else new to say about the Florida-Auburn matchup?
Not really. It's I feel like it's nothing, not really, except it just feels fitting to me. Like, it didn't feel right that this season could end with this Florida and this Auburn team only playing one time. So kind of makes sense to me that they're playing again in the Final Four. like, are we getting into predictions here?
Yeah, we can go getting into predictions.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll just say, like, I think that, and we'll get in, you know, if we win on Saturday, we'll get into this on Sunday, because I think the matchup, a hypothetical matchup against Duke in the championship really scares me. I'll be completely honest. But I don't think, unlike a hypothetical matchup with Duke, I don't think there's a lot of different things that have to go right for Florida to win this game. I think they just need to be able to play their game, and they'll probably be okay. So I will go with Florida here. Even though it's, you know, I don't love the game. I don't love the matchup. I'll say it's tight though. I'll say Florida wins it like 85-82 or something like that. I think it's high scoring and tight.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's had two of the better games in this tournament, the UConn game and now this past Texas Tech game. I think we get a third one that's maybe one of those better games in the tournament. Now, the good thing about not having these upsets is you're getting to the Final Four and you're going to have really high-level matchups. I think that's what we get here. I think both teams are going to be locked in. I just think the difference is going to be Broome isn't 100% or close to it. I mean, maybe he's 80%, and 80% Broome is still a really good Broome. I mean, remember the Tennessee game, he went and put a double-double when people didn't think he was even going to play that day. So we know Broome can play through his injuries. I think you're going to have Condon. I think he's going to have a really good game here. That might be the difference, Condon. How well does Condon play? If we get like a B- or lower Condon, we probably lose. But if you're getting like a B+ Condon, maybe an A, I could see us winning comfortably. I just think it depends how Condon plays. And, I mean, I think we're going to get a good Richard and Martin. Experienced guys, Martin especially. 0-1 in the Final Four. Martin probably wants to get that championship appearance. I mean, same with Richard, solid player. I think Auburn's going to give up more shots than Texas Tech or UConn did, which I think is better for Richard when you give him the opportunities when they're not just on you 24/7. So I think Richard's going to have a solid game. Just like a 15-point game that you see from Richard all the time. How Martin plays to each tournament. Clayton, I think, is going to put up 20-plus points. Maybe he has to put up 3 to win it like he did against Texas Tech. I'm going to agree that we win. I'm imagining this. Broome is probably going to put his heart on the floor. He has a good game. Condon has a solid game. I'm going to take the Gators to win it as well. I'm going to go 88-84 Gators.
Okay. So we're pretty similar boats here.
Oh, okay. I guess let's get into some comments. Let's see. Now we have Martin. Yeah, we didn't have either of those guys. Let me actually just put this.
Yeah, I forgot we didn't. I actually forgot we didn't have Martin in that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a whole new element. We didn't have Martin, nor did we have Micah Handlotton.
Micah hadn't even burned the red shirt yet.
No.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I think the stats now, Florida is 24-0 when Denzel Albertine hits a 3. Now, he was really good against Auburn. So, if against Auburn in that first matchup, I mean, maybe Martin wouldn't have played as well as Albertine did in that first matchup. Maybe he doesn't play as well as Albertine did to Saturday at 6:09 p.m. I mean, I guess that is a factor we didn't even think about, but I think Martin's defense is also going to be really well for us. I mean, how tall is Tahad Pettiford? He's not. I mean, he's actually like. Tahad Pettiford is 6'1". Yeah, so he's shorter than Elijah Martin. You have Elijah Martin on Tahad Pettiford. That physicality, I guess. I mean, we talk about the physicality is really what's broken down Auburn and their losses. How many other teams have that physicality? I think Michigan State has physicality, but they don't have the talent to keep up with it. I think that's the difference in this matchup.
Yeah, I see that too. I don't know if you guys watching the stream can see the Tyler's screen having a seizure right now.
Yeah, okay.
You get I don't know. Well, we'll get this figured out. Talking about Duke, the matchup against Duke. I mean, I agree. I don't think anyone matches up well against Duke. If there was one thing I will say, okay, yeah. So Rob's saying it's glitching. Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I will say about the matchup against Duke is that I mean, I actually do think Florida might be the only team in this tournament that's like built to even have the potential to stop Duke. Like, I think Florida is maybe the only team with the talent and front court depth to like really handle what Duke's got going on there with Cooper Flag. Like, I'm not saying they will, and we'll get into it on Sunday if the time comes, but I'm not sure I'd pick the Gators to win that game, but I do think that Florida might be uniquely built to have a chance against Duke in a way that some other teams wouldn't. I can't hear you if you're talking.
Sorry, I finished my thoughts on the Auburn game.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan, they're known for their guards not being that great. Like, that's really what held them back this season and lacked physicality. Stephen Ashworth doesn't give physicality on the defensive ends compared to what Elijah Martin and Will Richard will do. Maybe we are just a bad matchup for Auburn with our physicality and talent. We have both the things to go well together. I mean, that actually kind of makes me a bit more confident now heading into this Auburn game because Tennessee's guards, Akai Ziegler, Jemai Meshack, they're gonna exceed most teams' physicality. A&M's guards, I mean, outside of like Wade Taylor, like Zurich Phelps and what's your 6'6" guy's name?
Lanier? Is that what you're talking about?
No, for A&M.
Sorry, number tennis. I can't remember talking about.
Like, these are guards that are going to be very physical, especially on the defensive end, even offensive end. So I do think that actually adds an element that Florida has an advantage over Auburn. So maybe the game just comes down to Walter Clayton versus Janai Broome. How fun would that be? But yeah, I'm going to stick with Florida. And now